With the fall of fascism in 1943, Italian filmmakers embraced a new freedom that encouraged a direct and authentic style of movie making. Neorealism sought a more democratic spirit, telling stories of the life of the ordinary people with little or no moralizing. Above all, it was a reaction to the studio bound, Hollywood influenced productions of the fascist years, the so called white telephone films. Its proponents, Rossellini, Vittorio De Sica, Luchino Visconti, Giuseppe De Santis, and Carlos Lizzani, among others, were determined to take their cameras to the street, to reflect the real Italy, which for years have been absent from Italian cinema screens. The performers, even those cast in major roles, were often non professional actors. They eschewed subjective camera work and editing as well as romantic effects of lighting. They allowed scenes to play out in real time, however slowly or methodically, and they drew dialogue from the street, even when the source of a script was a literary text. I will start my journey of capturing the essence of world cinema through the film that has paved the path of a golden era of neorealism. Rome Open City has been canonized as the ultimate example of neorealism for both its aesthetic and theoretical techniques. That is, the film embodies the urgency and immediacy of the neorealist movement in both form and content. Rossellini began shooting in January 1945 amidst the war, forcing him to be resourceful. He used salvaged film stock, he shot in abandoned basements and post-synchronized sound. And like the characters in Rome Open City who were tormented by war, Rossellini himself had to fight for his political and artistic vision. The story begins in Nazi-occupied Rome, where German troops are trying to arrest the engineer Giorgio Manfredi, a communist and a leader of resistance against the German Nazis and Italian fascists. He takes shelter in the home of Francesco, another resistance fighter. There he encountered Francesco's fiancée Pina. Later, she emerges as a significant character in this film. Her belief and love has added a great flavor to the story, which also came to her as Best Actress Award in National Board of Review USA as well as in Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists. Whereas the other female character Marina, a lover of Giorgio, betrays him in the exchange for drugs and a fur coat. Shortly after that, we will be introduced to Don Pietro, a Catholic church bishop who decides to officiate at Pina's and Francesco's wedding the next day, who was also indirectly helping the resistance in his own way. The local SS commander in the city, helped by the Italian police commissioner, suspects that Giorgio is at Francesco's apartment. They conducted a huge raid, pulling out all the people and arresting dozens of men. One of the most famous scenes from this film happened when they tried to get Francesco away from Pina.
Francesco! 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 Pino! 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 Francesco! Francesco Carogna! Francesco! 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 Lasciatemi! Francesco! Lasciatemi! Sarò Francesco! 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 Lasciatemi!
Using information given by Marina, the Gestapo and the Italian police captured Giorgio and the priest, along with an Austrian defector, on their way to the monastery. Gestapo try to get Giorgio to betray the comrades, but it is in vain. He does not respond to sweet talk, so they torture him intensely. Major Bergman went inside midway to address the stubbornness of this Italian rebel, but was certain to break him down. There happened a striking conversation with a retired General Hauptmann, who felt the futility of bragging about the superiority of German race.
Sie sind betrunken, Hartmann. Tja, ich bin betrunken. Ich betrink mich ja jeden Abend, um zu vergessen. Und das Endergebnis? Ich sehe immer klarer. Wir bringen es nicht weiter als Morden. Morden! Morden! Ganz Europa haben wir mit Leichen übersät. Und auf diese Gräbern wächst unaufhaltsam der Hass. Hass! Überall Hass! Wir werden vom Hass vertilgt. Ohne Hoffnung. Genug! Alle werden wir sterben. Sterben ohne Hoffnung.
In a key exchange in the Nazi headquarters, while Manfredi is being tortured in the next room, Major Bergman tries to turn Don Pietro against Manfredi, saying, "He is subversive and an atheist, your enemy." Don Pietro replies calmly, "I believe that anyone fighting for justice and liberty walks in the ways of the Lord, and the ways of the Lord are infinite." This baptism of the atheist Persian leader is highlighted as Manfredi's stripped and beaten body is pressed crucified against the wall, a secular Christ figure.
Non hai parlato.
Don Pietro, from an ordinary Catholic bishop, became the representative of independence. While refusing to talk, he became the voice of the resistance against the Nazis. He is taken to be executed early the next morning before his parish can learn of his arrest and respond with a protest. Rome Open City defines the language of cinema and started an era in modern film. The realistic views and the characters bearing the scars of the war has shook the world with its brutality, love, and humanitarian approach. It has got multiple international recognition along with a nomination in Academy Award in 1947.
Allo? Pronto?
C'è Giorgio?
I am not a critic, so from the view of a film buff, I'll try to understand what makes this movie a classic. The time of shooting of this cinema was itself challenging. It is not easy to film around a World War affected city with limited resources and budget. The color variation in the film stock shows how hard it was to accommodate the basic amenities to shoot a film. I was little perplexed when I first saw the cinema, as I was unaware of the history behind it. So I'd like to make it a little simpler for you. During World War II, Rome is an open city because this was the wartime status conferred on it. In return, for a cessation of bombing, the authorities would abandon its military defense. This was a concession to the Allies. But Rossellini's irony is that Rome is open to Italy's occupier, Germany, as the capital of northern Italy's new Nazi puppet state, the so-called Salo Republic. Rossellini went outside the studio-bound white telephone films to create multiple outdoor shoots. Even a small escape war scene where the resistance attacked the Nazi vehicles to set the rebels free. It brings out the true nature of Nazi occupation and devastating effect of World War on the common people of Europe. From the sacrifice of Pina to the resilience of Manfredi, Rome Open City shows the dynamic human contrast in this film. If there is only one character that caught me throughout, it's Don Pietro. His relationship with kids, helping the resistance, and in the end, giving away his life for independence has pulled the curtain with a surreal ending.
Feuer! Io, perdona. Feuer! Loro. Ma Schuss!
Despite of the extraordinary constraints under which it was made, Rossellini's landmark movie remains considerably more than an important historical and artistic monument. It exudes a raw authenticity, a dramatic urgency, and a dark, desperate power undreamed of by the vast majority of the films being made now. The essence of this film came to me as the truth for life. You may not have a happy ending, but the firm stand in the path of just sets you apart.